Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Today, we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. It really feels like we're getting closer and closer and closer to some sort of settlement every single day because of the fact that the SEC pretty shortly here is going to have no more room to run. Feels great knowing this and thinking about it. But all right, for right now, James Rule posted over on Twitter. So tomorrow is the SEC deadline to provide documents to the court pertaining the SEC employees' crypto investments and specifically XRP. Will it happen? Now, James Fillon replied and said that is the deadline for the SEC to file its objection to Ripple's motion to compel production of those documents. The Judge Netburn would then decide later. Let me explain to you guys exactly what is going on so you're completely up to date, because I noticed there's one guy here not understanding it completely, so there's most likely quite a lot of others. And guys, make sure you press that like button. I always try to go for exactly what doesn't make too much sense and explain it in the easiest way possible, so we're all up to date. All right, so we're all up to date because the lawsuit here has been question after conclusion after question, and that's the way they want it to be. At least that's how I feel about it. But all right, a little bit earlier, there was a Ripple motion to compel. A motion to compel basically meaning Ripple requesting to get certain documents from the SEC. Those documents specifically were about their internal trading policies, and a couple of facts shown in there were really interesting. Now, you can already kind of guess in the comments section now if you think that the SEC's reply will make a lot of sense, if they will reply at all. But there's a 99% chance they will reply because, well, why not? Now, Ripple asked information regarding that the SEC has to reply today somewhere, and it reads here, the SEC's response to the Ripple defendant's motion to compel the SEC to produce pre-clearance trading documents showing whether SEC employees were permitted to trade XRP and other digital assets. What that means is Ripple wants to know exactly at what point did you make a decision that XRP couldn't be traded internally, if at all, and what made that change and all of that stuff. And the same thing for Bitcoin and Ether a little bit, or at least for their crypto policies in general. So where this becomes really interesting is in the fact that right now it looks as if the SEC didn't have any crypto framework, meaning all SEC employees were allowed to buy crypto up until 2018. Yet, that's the same year that they started investigating Ripple, but this lawsuit is going as far back as 2013, so that really doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, what Ripple is trying to showcase here or prove has to do with their fair notice that, again, the SEC didn't really show Ripple that they were doing something wrong because, well, you can't really show something you're doing something wrong if you don't even know about it yourself. And I think that this is going to be a slam dunk for Ripple, because think about it. The SEC has no other way to respond than saying, no, we had clarity since 2013. However, that makes it really difficult for them to come out of this little hellhole that they've put themselves into, because think about it like this. If they've had clarity since 2013, how come the world doesn't know that? That's odd. For now, about 8 years, at least 5 years to 2018-ish, at least to that point, the SEC members could still buy it. So that's odd. Why didn't they tell Ripple they were doing something wrong? That's odd. Why right now is there still confusion? That's odd. And why wait about 6-7 years then to start suing the company which was doing something wrong for so many years? All of that is odd. So the only thing they can say is, no, we didn't have proper clarity because we didn't know up to 2018 or something, maybe even 2019. And that's going to kind of diminish this lawsuit from Ripple. For I think the worst that Ripple is going to be kind of sued for as of this point is going to be the 2018 to 2020 area. Because everything after the lawsuit has started is, for some reason, not included, which I find strange because, theoretically speaking, whatever they've done wrong, they're still doing wrong, right? Unless you're talking about, no, anything you're talking about, I guess. They're still doing it wrong. Everything that they've done. Unless they're saying that it's right now properly decentralized, but if that's so, then how exactly did they change and when? And that is ultimately what these documents are all about, the documents that they've tried to get 2 days ago, which the SEC has to respond to next week. Because they want to basically see why does the SEC say that Ripple crossed the border of this Howey test, and where exactly is XRP being sued for, and how exactly they're doing something wrong? Now, guys, by the way, if you're looking for a cool crypto exchange to use to trade, make sure you check out Bybit. A link is down below. Look at this, guys. These were some of the trades we put together a couple of days ago. This is not even my other trade, which right now is at about $4,000 profit, as you guys know. This is another trade of just XRP and Bitcoin, because I told you guys, those two look to break out. I am buying into them. And you can see we bought about $1,100 and $1,000 worth. You can also clearly see that XRP really severely outperformed Bitcoin, which, again, you couldn't have really predicted. If I had only bought, for example, another coin like Sol here, my gains would have been way more crazy. That's the truth, all right? That's the complete truth. Then again, I'm already happy here just kind of doubling my... I guess about doubling my money in such a short amount of time for almost no effort by just clicking a couple of buttons. And that, once more, is the power of leverage trading. I still think that you can get a $3,000 bonus on Bybit for free. Make sure you check it out, all right? A link is down below for that one. I still think it's completely free to get yourself $3,000 for the bonuses. And then theoretically speaking, all these trades can be done for completely free with no actual money of your own because of the bonuses, which is pretty crazy. All right, then the digital asset investor shared this over on his Twitter. It is clear to Jay Clayton in 2020. It's Bill Hinman's personal opinion in 2018. It's clear to Gary Gensler in 2021. It's not clear to Hester Pierce in 2021. But Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, and Ripple should have known all the way back in 2013. What a sham and a joke of a circus this is. Guys, conclude with me right here. Haven't we already now made up the opinion that literally there is no way in which the SEC can fully drive a slam dunk onto Ripple's side, even if Ripple knew they were doing something wrong or they questioned whether or not it was a security back in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, and even the start of 2018. If the SEC didn't have any rules, then it doesn't matter what you think. It does not matter, because if there's no clarity, then there's no clarity. You can't do something wrong if there's no rules for it. Unless, of course, it is too obvious that there should have been a rule. But then again, there is a rule. If it's so obvious that there doesn't have to be a rule, there is still a rule. All right? Because there's no, oh, that's too obvious rule. No, it doesn't work like that. There's always some sort of rule which still inadvertently talks about the specific thing you want to do, which, again, might be very obvious if you guys get my drift. So, in this case, there haven't been any rules, and I think that this lawsuit right now has made a really big breakthrough because of all the freaking digging that we've done. My other video here, I'm not sure if it's going to be the video before this or after this. It depends on how I schedule these uploads a little bit. However, we're talking about the SEC lawsuit and just another part of it, which just doesn't make sense to me, guys. It just, I almost want to slap myself so hard in the face for not seeing it earlier. I need to get myself more XRP. I need to maybe open up more trades and go even crazier. Because it's a slam dunk, guys. I literally will spend so much, I have already done it, but I'll spend so much money just buying this crypto because I think it is one of the greatest ROI opportunities. That does not mean it's financial advice, and that does not mean that it's a good decision for you. But for me, if I look at these cryptos, which one has a good chance to get a huge gain in a short amount of time? A lot of them, honestly speaking. A lot of them look to gain some crazy amounts in a short amount of time. But which one is almost guaranteed to gain from a almost certain win in this lawsuit? I would say XRP. So this is kind of my safest bet, even though a lot of crypto can do well. And guys, many people have criticized me in the comment section for saying, oh, but ADA did way better, or oh, Solana did way better. Guys, if you know how to time these crypto, go right on ahead. I'm talking about a longer term vision because I know we are making money for a couple of generations. I don't care about a couple bucks. I don't care about a couple $100. No, we're talking about, I think a lot of you guys are even talking about millions here, all right? Maybe some people are still here struggling with the $10 in XRP. No problem at all. Not a problem. Everybody started off somewhere, right? And you, as a small investor potentially, already being involved, it's about the percentage game in that sense too. You might start out with $10, another might start out with 10 million. It's a percentage game. You're making gains, and that's what it's all about. And that's also why in one of my previous videos I've said, don't really be too worried that you're late or that you don't have enough. You're still really early for this crypto adoption. Mind you, that there's right now crypto lawsuits going on that can still have this fair notice argument. That's showing you how early we are. If there were a couple of litigations like this before, you can't have this. You can't have the question of, was there proper clarity because everything would have been figured out? No. Right now it's a question of, Are there actually any rules in place? And that's to show you how early you are. There aren't even proper rules just quite yet, and that is crazy to me still. All right, let's watch this for a little bit.
The Howey tested is core, three-part test, but the Howey tested, did you give somebody money in anticipation of profits on their efforts? Now, usually there's a handful of people at the center of these XYZ project or ABC project. I'm not going to use names. There's usually a handful of entrepreneurs and technologists that, in effect, the investor is hoping those people do well. So that means anticipation of profits on the efforts of others. I think it's kind of just like reasonably clear. I would say very clear. Yeah, at this point,
Let me just step in right there to say that this is obviously one of the stupidest things to say for two reasons. One, he's saying that it's clear, reasonably clear, regarding what, right? That one little part of Howey, okay, interesting, because even that specific statement right here is easily debatable. If you're saying the efforts of others, how many others are you talking about? One single central party? Okay, but how many members may that have? Should it be a company? Does it have to be a profitable company? What if it's for example, a foundation based upon people who just want to participate? Let's say, for example, right? I set up a company, no payout. It's not a company, actually. It's just kind of a hood of different people. A hoodie, whatever. So you can apply, I can apply, everybody can apply. We all bundle our forces together or not. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. But you're part of this kind of alliance, basically, here, of people that just want to be part of it. What if we, as a party, right, who don't know each other, we have no idea, are working on something? You can just apply to be part of this. If that's the case, are we that one single party then that creates this expectation of value? I mean, you guys get my drift there? It's such a little difficult thing. I mean, the same thing, of course, goes for any real world products in that sense that are not crypto-like. But even then, it's kind of difficult to make up the conclusion because you don't really see this type of structure in the real world. In the fake, you might say, or the crypto world or the online world, you do see a lot more, though, because theoretically speaking, you don't need to know anybody else. You on your own can create a crypto, and everybody can kind of come together with that. You don't even have to know the person who made it to have proper rules in place where the entire system can kind of develop its own. If we all just make partnerships wherever we want, left to right, if Ripple, for example, were to go away right now, another foundation would step up. Fact or fact? It's a fact. Another foundation would step up. If Ripple were to give their 40 billion XP, whatever, to another party, that party would most likely fill the spot of Ripple/XRP. Would it be done better or worse? That's to be seen. Point being, there's always a party which has the biggest kind of factor in such a project where Ethereum Foundation, for example, is it for Ethereum, Cardano Foundation is it for Cardano, or I guess IOHK because Cardano has a couple of parties, Stellar Foundation is it for Stellar, and Bitcoin Foundation is for Bitcoin. It goes on forever. There's always a party that has the biggest interest in that project because, well, that's the party that chose to get that job, kind of. That's the party that goes to work on it the most. Doesn't mean it has to be there. It just means it was there because, well, that's beneficial to everybody, and people want to be in there. Once more, I would find it really difficult to answer your question, Gary Gensler, of it being clear. Because, well, it depends on your own parameters of what a single entity in that sense would be.
If you're investing in Ethereum, I would say you're investing in the team and the community to a large extent. And this is something that Bitcoin and Ethereum didn't have to deal with. You need to be regulatorily compliant. Well, one area where the chair and I think, don't see eye to eye is the lack of clarity around when something is or is not a security and what actually is the security at issue when we're talking about these token offerings. So I do think that we could provide some more clarity in that space.
Yeah. So once more, if they internally at the SEC don't agree, then how can you come to a conclusion then? One thing to quickly add though, just to make sure you guys are not ending off on the wrong foot. I am not saying that no crypto are securities, because I would even like to argue that if some party is hosting an ICO, there's a direct little link between these two with an investment contract, right? So let me say it like this. Even though this specific... Okay, I hope that the recording is not going to end itself. If you don't hear anything from me anymore, my microphone just quit out, but I'm going to try continue on with my